Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Logan, the drunken metalhead who muses, and tonight I'm lamenting my current situation. As some of you might know, I recently moved further down south to Louisiana, of all places, and I'm getting used to the climate. And the biggest adjustment, of course, has been the heat and the humidity, and the surprise that it's carried all the way over into November. I mean, this whole week it's been in the 80s and very humid outside. So, needless to say, I've not been used to it. And one of the other side effects of this change in climate is that my musical listening habits have changed. I often acknowledge that the weather affects how I listen to music and what kind of music I want to listen to. So it's no surprise that this warmer and more humid climate is making me reach for albums and genres that I wouldn't typically, listen to in November. Here we are. These are some albums and bands that I've been like just checking out in November, and they've all been stoner rock. I've really been enjoying new stoner rock specifically, so I made sure that all these bands are bands that have really just started releasing stuff within this new decade. These are all bands kind of from the 2020s that are really showing that stoner rock is alive and well. Let's dive in. And to coincide with this weird season of stoner rock in November, I have a Kolsch in November. Now, typically this time of year is when I'd start to break out like the darker beer, like the brown ales, the winter warmers, the occasional porter and stout. But fuck it, it was 80 degrees today. I could have dressed like this dude on the can. So we're drinking Fancy Lawnmower by St. Arnold Brewing, a brewery out of Texas. I mean, this will pair well with all the music I'm about to show. An easy drinker for easy and fun riffage and just light-hearted, dialed-back stoner rock tunes. Cheers to being outside of your normal time and place. So first, I want to highlight a band that I saw on my birthday back in September when they opened up for Bongzilla, and I'm talking about Kadabra. So this is their 2021 album, Ultra, which was released on Heavy Psych Sounds, and yeah, this is just a fun, very groovy, very laid-back stoner rock album. The riffs are very unique. There are a lot of like stop-start kind of riffs, but still very groove-oriented. And of course, the vocals are in a dreamy register. Live, I will say they absolutely crushed it. And I want to highlight tracks off this album. Bean King is probably my favorite. I don't know what we're referencing. I don't know if we're flicking the bean or whatever. But track 5, Death, is also awesome. Has a little bit of a darker vibe to it. And the track 6, Coyote, is kind of like a bit of a western kind of romper. So I don't know. I mean, I think this album is a bit backloaded, where I like the back half of it more than the front half. But I don't know. To me, Kadabra has a unique sound, the modern stoner rock scene, and I think they're continuing to carry the flag for what stoner rock is in the 2020s. So check out this album. Check out their latest album, Umbra, which was released this year. And since we're talking about Kadabra and the time that I saw them live here in New Orleans, what we have here in the background is the opening band from that concert, appropriately called Wizard Dick. This is their self-titled album, and they are just an instrumental two-piece. They are fun. They're perfect background music. They bring the riffs, and their name is Wizard Dick. I really don't know what else I could ask for from a band like this. Then from there, I want to highlight the most fun album of this whole modern stoner rock conversation. This is Howling Giant with their album, The Space Between Worlds. And look at this shit. I got it signed. Or, technically, I didn't get it signed. Brian Arkham got it signed. Dude's a legend. Sent this vinyl copy to me. And look at this. This is a colored vinyl variant that I absolutely love. It fits. It looks like Avatar: The Last Airbender as like a vinyl variant. I would describe Howling Giant as just straight up adventure rock. I mean, there's definite stoner rock influences in here, but there's such a lighthearted and almost psychedelic vibe to it. It kind of makes you just want to go out exploring in nature, in the woods, at a truck stop. I don't know. They're just a fun band. And I would really check out any of their albums. Their new one, Glass Future, which just came out, is also great. Killer tracks off of this one. Opening song, Comet Rider. It's phenomenal. And then there's some great songs in the second half of it, like The Orb and the closing song, Stone Giant. And also, I'm trying to make a highlight of the labels. This came out on Blues Funeral. Alright, and then from there, we're going to stick to Blues Funeral. This is probably one of my favorite albums to come out this year. And it's a collaborative album between two bands. We have Resin and Venom Sabathi. Or Sabathi. Who knows? Either way, this is their album, Silent Future. I adore this album. As soon as I listened to the first song, I knew this was going to be the album that would finally get me into Resin, which has been a band I've been wanting to dive deeper into for a couple years now. But this is the one that is doing it for me. And it's potentially because not only is it a collaboration, but it's also a concept album centered around a science fiction space element. There's definitely some deep space exploration where they find sentient molecular organisms that really fuck shit up, is what it sounds like. I don't know, something about concept albums in space have always been a favorite of mine, and this just adds to it. This album is light and airy when it needs to be, but then also heavy and claustrophobic when it needs to be. It's I think it's going to be a landmark album for the year and a hallmark for Resin's discography, and I guess Venom Sabathi's discography as well, though I'm not as familiar with their output. But yeah, definitely check out the concept album Silent Future. And then from there, I want to mention my favorite album of this whole video, and potentially my favorite album of the new modern stoner rock bands. This is Asheron by King Buffalo. Killer artwork. I absolutely love that. But no, to me, this is the perfect balance between excess and restraint. 4 songs, clocking in at 40 minutes, and King Buffalo just has such a unique sound. To me, they're 1/3 stoner rock, 1/3 jammy, just hippy dippy shit, and 1/3 progressive rock and roll. So I think it comes together perfectly on this album, mainly because of the 2 closing songs, track 3 Shadows and track 4 Cerberus. Shadows is a bit of a darker, slower tune, but Cerberus is really where this album just clinches the win and the victory. It's got a killer riff, and then there's a guitar solo / melody at the very end that just really pushes you out into space and just lets you hang there in the most beautiful and epic of ways. King Buffalo are really doing something unique and are really capturing some interest in this style of music. And I'm just excited to see where they go from here. They are a great band to listen to outside of this album as well, but definitely Asheron. And then I wanted to highlight one album that I don't actually own yet. It's a band called Duel and their album Incarne Persona. It's came out in 2021 and it's just fun, catchy stoner rock with a bit of that 70s hard rock influence. There's a lot of pressure on just catchy choruses that almost have a bite to them, and they just live in your head rent free. There's also a good balance between darker style songs and just more catchy, lighthearted tracks. But this album is just wall to wall fun to listen to all the way through. Due to a glitch in the matrix, I lost this upcoming section of the video, so re-recording it real quick, but about to dive into the track listing for Duels Incarne Persona. I gotta recommend track 2, The Veil. That's an incredibly catchy song, very uplifting, infectious chorus, and that's what kind of got me into the band in the first place, just stumbling onto that track on Spotify. Bite Back is another killer, more hard rocking tune, another just anthemic chorus that is now stuck in my head. And then closing song, Blood on the Claw, great darker track, love that one as well. But can't go wrong with any of the songs off this album. And then I wanted to wrap up the video with an actual physical release, couldn't just end on a downer, just showing off a picture, gotta show off another physical content. So here we go. This is the band Twin Wizard with their debut album Glacial Gods. This came out in 2020 on the Cosmic Peddler, and I do like this blue shell. And look at the sides. We got fucking A, fucking B. But this band should be familiar to some people who are, a little deeper into the scene. This is one half of Cosmic Yeti. I don't know the full story, but all I know is one member of Cosmic Yeti ended up leaving before their most recent album, Primordial, came out. And this is, I guess, his response. There's even some of the material that ended up on Primordial on here, like Ghost Train Haze, Cult of the Yeti, Electric Yeti. So I don't know if there's bad blood or what, but I don't know. I'll take another band of killer stoner rock for sure. And this is definitely more powerful and riff oriented, like Telekinetic Yeti. Definitely recommend Twin Wizard too. And I wanted to take this chance to also talk about the labels that have put out this killer music. I think the modern resurgence of stoner rock owes a lot to these particular labels, and I'm about to shout out for really just becoming big hubs for this sound. So I know I mentioned Heavy Psych Sounds, definitely check them out. Blues Funeral has just had a killer year this year. Some of my favorite albums have come out on that label. And then Cosmic Peddler is mainly a distro, but they do release some of their stuff as well. definitely check out all 3 of those labels. So there you go. 6 bands that prove that stoner rock is alive and well in 2023, and also prove to me that you can listen to any kind of music anytime throughout the year, just depending on what the weather is. All it took was 80-degree weather in November for me to appreciate releases of the stoner rock category. So, thanks for watching, and cheers till the next time.